Okay, I'm going to be putting on new gasket on this casement window. This is either a caradco or a malta window, but it doesn't actually have a name on it. Now the gasket that I'm doing goes in this little slot. It goes on all four sides, and I have noticed over the years that the old gasket was in tough shape. In some sections, like along the bottom in particular, the bulb part of the gasket completely fell off. Other sections, it's just damaged. On this, on one particular side, it's not so bad. But I was able to get something from Swisco, which has a profile that looks like it'll be a match. And I got 25 feet, which is how much it comes in, and that should be enough for this window. So I'm going to pull out all of it and replace all four sides. In the corners, at the two bottom corners, when there was some decay, so I did have to, when I patched it with an epoxy, I did have to clear that, and so that I'll be able to get the gasket down into the slot according to the strategy where I want to get a good seal in the corner. That's where I could have a leak. Okay, so the old gasket is still in the top, and I'll take that out and I'll start putting in the new gasket, and we'll see how this turns out. Okay, I put in the first piece. I cut it a little bit shorter than the full height, knowing that where the seal is going to meet by the two pieces at 90 degrees, it's not going to be up in the exact corner. It's a little bit lower, so I don't need it to go the full length, and I certainly don't want it to be a little bit too big because it won't fit in. Okay, so it's probably just about a quarter of an inch shorter than the total length. In this case, it's 38 inches, but it is a little bit difficult to get in. So after I put it in by hand, I take this little stick that I have and just push it in, push it in, push it in, push it in until it's smooth. And it looks a little bit tighter than the original one, but it does go in okay. I can see that there's a slight issue here because when you lock it, the mechanism does rub against it, and it's one of the places where it wears out. Gasket wears out at that spot. I could see that on the old ones, but I guess just that's really no way to avoid that at this point, other than just putting a little bit of lubrication on that, so that when it does rub against it, that it doesn't fray it. That's all. Okay, I'll go ahead and put on some more. Okay, I have the four vertical gaskets placed in. Okay, on all the four corners, and then down at the bottom, they are a little bit short because I started them up at the top, but they should be fine. Now I'll start putting in the horizontal ones. Now the horizontal ones, the length is important because that's going to determine the seal. When the window closes, that's going to squeeze a little bit, but what I'll do is I'll measure it as close as possible to the uncompressed distance, and that is when it starts sealing, the two of them can compress into each other, hopefully not leaving a gap. So in this case, a little bit bigger is a little better, and a little bit smaller, also I'll be able to adjust it. Okay, now I'll try the horizontal ones. What I'll do is I'll test fit one that was originally there, and I can use that as a template if it's acceptable. Okay, I put in the horizontal pieces. The first one I did actually came out pretty good, and the second one I made it a little bit short, a little bit too short, but I think it's going to be good enough. I do have enough material to make another one, but I don't want to. The third one I did, and the fourth one came out pretty good. By then I got the length down much better. So this looks okay. The gasket's should work fine on the new windows when I get them in. Okay, and that's all. That's all for this video. Okay, I do have to reassemble some hardware, put the windows back on, but that's all for this one, okay?